Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, to every nook and cranny receiving the signals from our 100,000 watt transmitters connected to those little boxes of the past known as radios that many still listen to us on. Good morning to the entire world listening to us via the internet, from the radio to the internet to all these other places. Yes, I know each one has their inventor, etc. But remember, nobody lives on an island. Nobody got knowledge in simply from themselves. Nobody is insular. We are all dependent on each other, and we all make progress based on the progress of others. We only succeed because others succeed. We only get knowledge because we're building on the knowledge of others. One of the reasons I think the most important profession, bar none, is teaching, because teachers, whether they be elementary school teachers, middle school teachers, high school teachers, college teachers, university teachers, professors, however the teachers are titled, the most important profession, bar none, as they move knowledge forward. Unfortunately, in our society, that's not who we consider the most important. Somehow, we reward those who generally do the least. Before we get any further, let's go to the studio. We're working on his lonesome today. We have the one and only Jack Van Bebel. Good morning, Jack. How you doing today, my brother?
Good morning, Egberto. I'm doing well today. I'm doing okay. All right.
I'm glad that you're doing all right. So I hope that you have I hope that you have something to tell me, but then I'm wondering, are you going to flip and change the subject again?
Well, I'm probably going to flip and change the subject again, because I've been watching Kamala, and it's almost like there's a lack of information coming out. But I'm going to try to describe maybe what's going on there. And will the Democratic voters accept that Kamala Harris may not be able to intervene in Gaza at first? The Zionists, AIPAC, and the military-industrial complex are powerful lobbies to go up against. I would avoid sticking my finger in their face till I had the authority to do so. She's holding the cards of this poker game close to her chest.
Boy, oh boy, thank you for that. And in fact, I think it kind of changes how I'm going to start the program. Damn it, man. Come on, Jack. What's wrong with you?
I'm an independent thinker.
I tell you. Okay, let me pick up on that, because that is such a smart move. But you know what? I'm also going to tie it into this group called that I'm going to talk called the Sunrise, and these are kids. Well, compared to your age and my age, they're kids, but they're, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I'm going to tie that in, but I'm going to tackle yours first because what you said is very smart. In a lot of ways, I say, let's all grow up. There is a structure in this country that controls and controls and controls. You spoke about the military industrial complex. Let me tell you something. If Kamala goes out there and say, I am going to tell Netanyahu to stop his genocide now, because they can, right? The American president can. Reagan did it. Reagan, I don't remember what war that was. Reagan called up, was it Menachem Begin? I don't remember who the prime minister was, and say, you'll stop it now. And the day after, it was over. It was stopped. We have that power because there is no IDF, there is no Israel, there is no dome without our technology, without our help, again, we are the ones that prop up that country. Punto y final. So if we decided to get tough, that's what would have to happen. But interestingly, we have a group in the United States called AIPAC that collects a lot of money from a whole lot of rich people, including some from the defense industrial complex, etc. That whenever you get anybody speaking up, anybody of stature or they believe could become of stature, speaking up against militarism, against the genocide of some, etc. And I'm using that word deliberately, and I'm not going to allow anybody to make believe or have me believe that somehow I am being anti-Semitic. My Jewish friends have already given me permission to use the language as I speak it because I want to make sure to be sensitive in all these discussions. So therefore, I make sure to talk to those of which I speak about. As it turns out, this group has already proven its prowess. Not completely. They try to get AOC out, failure. They try to get Ilhan Omar out, failure. But they were successful with Bauman, and they were successful with Cori Bush, and they would be successful with others in marginal races. So, as it turns out, Kamala would be wise not to be very specific in what she will do and what we must think of as smart voters is to if that's the person we want in, let her get in. And when she's in, apply the pressure. There's going to be pressure coming from AIPAC, and there'll be pressure coming from progressives, and there'll be pressure coming from moderates. Like I've stated, the country is a progressive country. Even if no one calls themselves most don't call themselves progressives, when you ask about policies, whether it be militarism, whether it be social policies, etc., most of the country will tell you, no, we are progressives by policy. They won't say it by word, they'll say it by policy. So as it turns out, let's go ahead and let that person that will do best, do best. Now, that said, there is, well, before I go there, let me point out, welcome aboard Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain in the chat. Welcome aboard Eric Hayes from Atascocita, Kingwood. Welcome aboard Alizarian Dreams. I think Alizarian Dreams is right here in Houston as well. I think on my side of town, if I recall correctly. Anyhow, folks, so yes. Now, let me tell you what made me very, very proud. There is a group called Summerwood. That's what I thought. Billy Allison Irwin is in Summerwood. Good morning, Billy Allison Irwin. Here's something that I want folks to realize. There's a group called Sunrise. It's a group of a lot of young people, and they can reach 1.5 million people in swing states, young folks in swing states. That's the demographics that they did. I interviewed their leader a couple of times at Netroots. I think it was last year or the year before. This is a powerful young group. They refuse to endorse Kamala Harris. But at the same time, they did the mature thing and said, we are going into all these different areas to activate the youth and give the youth the information that they need, which ultimately gives them or directed them to support Kamala Harris. I'll read a piece of the article in a bit, but since we have a call, I'm going to go to Art. Also, welcome aboard. Craig Hall says, "What's up, brother? I'm a truck driver out here listening to you." Thank you, my dear brother, Craig Hall. My truck driver brother, Craig Hall. Listen, what state are you driving in right now? Curious. Come on in, Art.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand how the APAC, like you were mentioning, when I saw Bowman lost and who was the other one?
Cory Bush.
Had an influence. Cory Bush. Yeah. Why do we have a foreign country in messing with our politics? Whether it be, if it was, in this case, it's Israel, I don't even think they try to hide it anymore.
No.
But what if it was China? What if it was Mexico? How would we treat them? But this just goes to, America having their hand in almost every election, not every election, but a majority of the elections in Central and South America, in the Middle East. And now we have a country influencing America. And how much pull do they have? Does Biden, the current president, is Harris, if she wins, or Trump, who are they going to listen to? Are they going to listen to APEC? Or are they going to listen to the American people that put him into office? What about our congressmen? And me, I was a RFK guy, but my only issue with him was his stance was Israel. He was hands down Israel all the way, and he was also influenced by AIPAC. So I don't know why that country has so much influence in our Congress. I mean, their guy, Bibi
Netanyahu, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he came and spoke in the U.S. Congress. I mean, that's uncalled for. And yeah, I mean, they're going to throw that word anti-Semite, whatever. I think it's a badge of honor these days because, for them to just throw that word and water down that word where they call anybody who says anything against the militaristic, like you were explaining, an anti-Semite is a badge of honor now because you just telling the truth makes you a badge of honor. So yeah, why do they have so much influence? And that also goes for local elections,
Look, it goes. What happens is it's about money and who knows how to distribute the money in all the right places. They don't have a lot of influence all over, but in a lot of races that matter, they currently have a lot of influence. And the thing about it is there are ways to defeat it, and we will. But to defeat it, you first have to defeat it. This is what I mean. If politicians finally realize that the influence of these guys are no longer there, in other words, if AOC winning in New York and other elections that they attempted to influence, that they still won that election was very important because what it did is it said that they don't have absolute domain or absolute power over the politician. So we have to make sure to show them, and that's the same thing that we're saying with regards to going into if Kamala gets in and influencing Kamala. Why again? Because what we will do then as progressives is direct her to make the right choices, but the pressure has to be there and it has to come. Right now, she knows, and most politicians know, the pressure that AIPAC has been able to assert. It is our time to show that our volume, our numbers supersede AIPAC's money. And we have to do that not only with AIPAC, we have to do that with just about every interest group that doesn't represent we the people.
Yeah, the NRA, Pfizer, so many lobbyists out there, Monsanto. There's so many out there. AIPAC, they have an influence, but that's a foreign country,
Right. No, you're right. All right, let me.
Monsanto's doing a lot worse to our food, so they need to, pull uprise against them as well. NRA, right. I mean, we need, a few more gun laws we could use. Yeah, there's a lot. I can go on, but anyway.
But let me just say, Art, before you go, I want to say this because this is important, because this is why I do what I do. The influence that these people have is money, but money by itself doesn't win elections. They use money to corrupt the mindset. They use money to lie to people, corrupt people's mind, way of thinking, just like MAGA corrupted a lot of people's way of thinking, right? My job The job of those of us with a platform, your job with the people who understands the thing, is to use their own platform to go out there and earn the respect of others, and in earning the respect of others, then promoting what the truth is, not from what you say the truth is, but for what the people that you are working with are able to find on their own. Teach them how to find the truth. Teach them how to be able to be independent thinkers, etc., and not follow the crowd. That's a job we all have to do. I have a platform where I can do that. That has been my goal going forward. It's just about informing folks so they can inform themselves. Anything else, Art, before I jump to Jacob?
No, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you. And
thank you, my brother. You have a good one. All right, let's go to Brother Jacob. Brother Jacob, talk to me, sir.
Yeah, blessings in the AM. And I'm not going to take you off, but I want to talk about like what my man was just saying. Now, the reason why they given Israel, pay so much attention to Israel and say if you say something against them, you anti-Semitic. They think that they are the chosen people of God, right? That's what they think it is. And when you say something, it's like you're saying something against God's people. But the fact of the matter is, Shem, the descendants of Shem, you're Shemitic. You're not Semitic. And to be a so-called Jew in Israel, Jacob name got turned in Israel. When he got a fight with an angel, he turned to, it's not the land, it's his descendants. It's Abraham's father Isaac was father Jacob. Jacob's name got changed to Israel. It wasn't the land. And then that was from the Euphrates, from Lebanon to the Euphrates, is the land of his descendants. Now, his descendants is no longer there, and they fought a war in 1947, and they gave them that. And then they came. They are Jewish. Khazar. They Jewish. They're Polish Jews. They're Russian Jews. They this and that. But guess who are the real Jews that's in that Bible? That's why I ain't rushing to go nowhere, because the history we are fulfilling the scriptures. The descendants of the enslaved of the Americas who got raped and robbed of everything else. So, and I'm gonna get off that. Now with Kamala, let me tell you something, man. And I don't blame you one bit for having your stance and being with Kamala, because Kamala and the Democratic Party is for the immigrants. Y'all really get a lot from her. The citizens. I'm not saying just because I know you're a citizen now and things of that nature, but y'all they've done, and the gays, you know what I mean, and women. That's the Democratic Party is coming right now, so I don't blame you.
No, let me just talk to you a little bit about that, Jacob, because I hear a little bit of cynicism in your voice, my brother. And let me say one thing: there's a lot of there is a
about that before you say that about me.
It wasn't negative. It wasn't meant to be negative. It was just a statement of how the message came across, as if let's say that I am supporting her because she's doing, let's say, a bit special for immigrants, or a bit special for gays, a bit special for women, etc. And I am an inclusive person, not an exclusive, not one who believes in exclusion whatsoever. And I also know of as concerted efforts by the right to try to corner Black men, and specifically Black American men with certain messaging, to really work on one's mind. We're all human, and a lot of times we can fall for that. Let me say something. I believe in 100% inclusion, not exclusion of anyone whatsoever. And I also believe in policies that should assist all. And I think one of the important things that we have to do is get rid of there's so much misinformation as far as what immigrants get and all that sort of stuff that really need to be debunked. Over time, I'm so happy that you listen to my show. Let me just say, I'm happy that you listen to my show.
How could they come over here and actually get all these resources? They fleeing somewhere that they talking about. And when Kamala went down there to see why they coming from village, and she gave them resources. Why are they giving these people resources when people right here who really deserve the resource? That's where I think they're gonna lose that. So, okay. All right, man. Thank you.
No, Jacob. I don't want you to go yet. Remember, he left already. All right, that's okay. Let me point it out. I need the audience to listen to me on this one. I love my brother Jacob. What the system the right is doing right now is putting those feelers in. Kamala went to Venezuela and let go a lot of money in Venezuela and Guatemala and Nicaragua, Honduras. What happened to all the poor people here in America, etc.? Why aren't they getting their own? That argument sounds great, right? That sounds like, somehow we're given a leverage or something to immigrants and we're denying our people here. The truth of the matter is that statement is true to some extent. There are a lot of social programs, and not only social programs, but things that we need to do here that's old, okay, that doesn't get done. Let me explain what Kamala was doing overseas. First of all, a lot of the migration that occurs from the South, from the islands, etc., are because of policies that we implemented. Specifically, we can look at Clinton's implementation of rice policies that affected the farmers in Haiti. We can look at many policies that put many of the people, the immigrants that are coming here, their entire family structure at a disadvantage because of U.S. policy. I mean, it didn't affect the average American person directly, but the billionaires and the millionaires and the plutocrats had policies south of the border and elsewhere that affected those people, and those people as such then migrated. It is easy to say trying to create some sort of a corrective measure for those pressures to stop the pressure at the border is at the expense of the poor person, the middle class person, the minorities that's been aggrieved and that's not received their fair share of the American pie. It is easy to say that to pit those people against the immigrant, it's also dangerous because, as usual, what we do is fight among each other as the plutocrat on top, as the master on top. Watch those people down below fight for crumbs. The mindset is easy to control. And that is what Jacob, I'm glad that you listen to the program every day. I am glad that you hear it. I hope that you take the honesty with which we put the information out here, along with the misinformation that many times flows through the system to alienate people so that we can all make the right choices. I hope so. And Craig Hall in the chat, yes, I did speak about ADOS. I'm glad that you loved the take that I had on it. And thank you for, you said you're in Florida. You're driving through Arkansas, heading to Louisiana. Well, thanks for listening, my brother. Appreciate you. Let's go to Brother Harry. Come on in, Harry.
Good morning. Good morning, Magic Jack. I didn't get a chance to mention this yesterday when the call was cut. But the other thing, I dropped you an email, Egberto. I don't know if I had a chance to look at it.
I'm a bit behind. I'm a bit behind on my emails. Look, I get about several thousand a day. So it's hard. I have filters to help me out, but it's still, I have a lot to answer. So forgive me if I haven't gotten to yours yet. I can't hear you, Harry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. A friend of mine, the friend of mine is a friend in Florida who is pro-Trump. The one I've been trying to get to call you.
Yes.
But anyway, he told me to, and I know you know who this man is that I'm about to talk about. Talking about Tavis Smiley, who's good friends with Dr. West, the man I'm still going to vote for.
Yeah, I know Tavis.
Yeah. And have you ever interviewed Tavis, Egberto?
No, I've spoken to him, but not interviewed him officially.
Okay, that's what my email's about. I'd hope that you're able to vote. You're able to interview him someday because he's coming out. Well, he's doing an update on this book he wrote. Dr. West is in it, and there are other friends of Tavis's that are in it. Black folks 20 years later, because he wrote this thing and this book in 2004. Even Nikki Giovanni, the poet, who the teacher at Virginia Tech, she has some quotes in it. But anyway, he was talking with his friend, and and Tavis mentioned this in this 2-hour interview on Vlad TV. And I looked up the article, and Kamala Harris stated that America is not a racist country today. And I looked that up, and I don't think she should have said that. What she should have said is,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. America is not a what?
America is not a racist country today. And I started to think, well, Kamala, if it's not a racist country today, why is Sonia Massey dead at the hand of the police? Why is Roger Forrester, who was an Air Force man, 23 years old, killed by a deputy? And both of these people I'll use I haven't used this term in a while, but melanin deficient deputies. And they're both been charged and fired, which is good. I'm glad that Roger Forrester is going to get justice for his family's going to get justice, because Ben Crumb has been all over the grand jury and all that.
Johnny, I get the point. Harry, I get the point. Let me just say this, okay? Yeah, sorry. Johnny comes next. I'm sorry. Anyway, Harry, let me tell you how I'm going to play.
Well,
you hear the mayor in a minute. Let me finish. Come on, let me talk here, Harry. Let me just say.
Go on.
Here it is, my brother. Look. Every so often I may say, yes, America is a racist country. But again, for me to just come out and say America is a racist country doesn't move anything forward, right? We all know what we live.
Right.
When I go to the stores, do I get tracked differently than others? Of course. When I go for service, do I get different kinds of services? Of course. We learn to live with those things. If I go into Second Baptist Church and walk down the aisle, are more eyes going to turn? Of course. Okay. But there's a fine line. I was talking to a member of KPFT a few days ago, and I said, some people were talking about racism, etc. And I said, it doesn't do me much good to just go out and say, hey, you're a racist or anything like that, right? What is a lot more effective is when a particular issue occur to go ahead and point it out and say how that can have racial connotations. Why do I say I prefer handling things that way? And I think that's what Harris was probably doing. If you take a look at the laws, the American laws, the laws that we've passed subsequent to the voting rights, subsequent to the civil rights, etc., by law, America is not a racist country. By law. Now, systemically, it is, right? But
it is.
But I can say by law, it isn't. Now, when cops get off from beating the crap out of people of color, they didn't get off because of the law. They get off because of the people in your community who was on a grand jury that decided to forget about the law. And since that's how our legal, So the other thing is this.
Because there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute.
Well, look, you'll have video evidence. But the other thing about it is we have to be also careful even with the police. The folks who beat the crap out of the guy in Tennessee and killed him were black cops. Yeah, black cops. Right. Okay, so let's
culture. That's right.
Right. So let's be fair here. There are racist people and there are non-racist people. What I've learned with several of the friends that I have, I remember making a huge mistake. This white brother that I worked with before I left my firm, I remember telling him this, we were talking about racism and all that kind of stuff. And he wanted to show me how progressive he was and the things. Well, that's what I thought. I thought he was just trying to impress me with how progressive he was and how not racist he was. So I finally said something and I looked like a fool. I said, let's see what happens when you're blue-eyed. His daughter was blue-eyed blonde chick. And I said, let's see what happens when your blue-eyed blonde daughter comes home with somebody who looks like me. And I should have known I was in trouble because he smirked.
Right.
While I was talking, he smirked. And he said, let me tell you, that blue-eyed blonde girl is dating one of you. And he said, and guess who the other one is dating? You have another daughter. He said, she's dating a Mexican. And I'm like, oh God, forgive me, Max. Forgive me. Okay, all right, I'm done. So don't judge a book by its color. But anyhow, my thing is,
one more thing Tavis said.
One quick one.
Yeah, Tavis told his friend, if Kamala is going to make a statement like that, America is not a racist country today, why should we vote for people? Well, his friend said to him, that politicians aren't going to always tell the exact truth. She can't tell the exact truth about it because then she can't be elected. And Tabitha said, well, why should we vote? Why should we vote for people who are not going to be honest and tell the exact truth? Why should we vote for people who are going to prevaricate, exaggerate, or even lie? Why should we vote for people like that?
You know what? Well, let me.
You can listen.
I know, but hold on. Let me just say this. I want to say this, okay? Because we're adults. That's why. And the reason why I said because we're adults is I know what I want. I know what I expect. But I also know that it's not only about me. It's about everybody else. And while I would like somebody to always tell the truth, I know that there are a lot of people out there who want to be snowed. And since I want to elect the best that I can, I have to make compromises. And that's what we have to learn. But thank you so kindly, my dear brother, Harry. No, let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
Wow. I have no right to complain whatsoever about my relatively measly 600 to 900 emails a month. I finally got that down like, I think, 3 emails a day. So I have no right to complain. Forgive me, please.
Man, if you ever see my mailbox, it's a task, man. But you know what? Go ahead, brother.
I think I could help Jacob out. I think I might be able to give him a different perspective, a different angle of attack, if you will. So the way I would answer his concern or his anger, and it's justifiable in a way, given the legacy of how this country was born, how it come about. But think about people after a hurricane, when they literally, their houses are destroyed, a hurricane or tornado, and there's literally nothing. The belongings are gone, banished, scattered for miles and miles, and they've got the clothes on their back. Think about a young child that comes into the world who is totally dependent upon his or her mommy and daddy. We give kids all kinds of resources. It takes a village, remember? Well, don't think just because you're an adult that you require no resources if life strikes you down and makes you like a overgrown kid with clothes on your back. So when I was in the building where they would process food stamp applicants, I'd come across future Asian American families who, although they had all kinds of educational pedigree, they had nothing. And our government, in talking to them and vetting them, realizes that they will be fine, outstanding, dependable citizens in one day. But in order to get there, you have to provide resources as a bridge. So I don't begrudge Asian American immigrants. I just wish that when we award food stamp assistance to Americans, we apply the same kind of generosity towards our so-called native-born Americans as we do others we allow into the country. That's my only beef, and I hope that helps Jacob.
And you know what? That is, I think I was sort of trying to say that, Johnny, in that it's not a zero-sum gain, right? Because, I mean, if you take a look at the interdependencies are huge. And what I hope Brother Jacob gets out of the program is that there are a lot of ills that were done, etc. The only thing that really I don't want to say I took exception to, but more that I think made me sad is when Jacob said, "I can see why you support her." After all, or implied, he didn't say this, I'm paraphrasing, at least that's how I took it, saying, because I am an immigrant, I can see why you would support her. I am not supporting her because I'm an immigrant or that she has immigrant roots. I am supporting her because I think she would be good for absolutely every single American. Not demographically, but simply every single American based on their particular needs, right? And progressives are there to push her that way. So, I mean, I am trying to be that, bring in, like I told Jacob, that inclusivity, not, because I am this or because you are that. I've learned that lesson already. Yes, if Jacob and I go into places, we're going to get the same kind of treatment. Nobody knows that I am a naturalized citizen from Panama. Nobody knows that. So when I am here, I get that same type of treatment, period. Johnny, I have I got to go because the phones are filling up. All right.
One last thing real quick to help Jacob also. And likewise, when you relay your experience to Kamala based on who she is and how she presents, I would criticize Hillary Clinton, not because she's white or because I'm a white guy, theoretical white guy. It's because I don't like the way she acts as a politician.
There you go. And that's fair. That's fair. And, I had objections with Hillary, but I personally, I campaigned the whole of hell for the woman, even though I am a Berniac. I'm a lefty. I'm a Berniac. But I, like I said, the adult thing in me said, let's take the vest and look at what we got. Trump. Hey, Johnny, I got to go to Linda. Okay. Thank you, brother. All right, let's go to.
Bye.
Peace. Linda, line 4. Come on in, Linda.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Talk to me, Linda.
Awesome. The purpose of my phone call is I believe his name was Jacob, or to anyone that is listening this morning. Sometimes we allow ourselves to listen to the rhetoric. And this is what I'm saying. Instead of us being frustrated with some type of assistance that are given to others that may need, what we really should be upset about is the corporate greed, the people that we give money to, say, for instance, like the pharmaceutical companies, or we look at the banks, or we even look at Elon Musk, and they say these people are so knowledgeable and wealthy and strong, and we don't get upset because the government supplement them, and then they turn around and charge us by the arm and the leg for products that we, the taxpayer, put money in to create. So I think if we want to be frustrated because we're not receiving what we should support politicians that are trying to give us that same grace. The reason they can't give it to us is because of Congress and the infighting, or the injustices that go on up there that affects us down here. The money is there for us too. The money to help us is there too, but we use it in wars. We use it in so many other ways, and our anger or our frustration or disappointment, I should say, is being directed the wrong way. We need to figure out, okay, why can't you do some of that for me too? So it's not because others may receive help. It's because we're not getting the help. And that's why we feel a little disappointed. The second point that I want to make, and then I will be finished, is that when a person say that Kamala said this, it's interesting how we can nitpick and find, if we want to find something, there's something. Donald Trump lies all day long and all night. Everybody have made some statements before, but that one statement, that's going to keep me from helping me get lower rent or lower prices so that grocery prices, or that's not going to help me buy a house. So my thing is, we have to look bigger than the one little thing that affects us. And if her saying America is not a racist country today, that has nothing to do with me getting food on my table. I need food on my table. Be racist, give me food. Whatever you want to do, just do me right. I'm through, but let's be fair.
You know, Linda, don't leave. I can't tell you how that both of your messages are perfect and spot on. And we need every single voter to have that mindset, because you have your eyes on the ball. What happens is a lot of people have us distracted with all these other things, right? You have your eye on the ball. And if, just as you've told me there is, if in your sphere of influence, and every single person has a sphere of influence, if you use your sphere of influence to promote that message, we'll all be fine. Thank you so kindly for calling in, Sister Linda. All right, let's go to Brother Derek. Come on in, Derek. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. I want to say something concerning Israel. The United States is a war-weary nation right now. She have not the will to fight for Israel anymore. The disrespect that Netanyahu is showing to the United States, they've been showing that disrespect. Because remember, the Republican Party, the conservatives, they invited him to speak under President Obama. Did he respect Obama when he came in? No. And then I remember one time when the United States, when Israel was attacking other nations, and it came up in the UN. I think it was Kofi Annan. I think it was over there at the time.
Yeah, Kofi Annan.
They said to him that if he would stop his talk against Israel, that they will make. Listen to the word. We will make the United States pay back I guess the United States was behind on paying some type of money to them. They say they will make the United States do it. What is that telling you about their power and control?
Well,
Hey.
let me tell you better. Let me tell you better because it drives me crazy as well. Netanyahu comes to the Congress and the Republic, and you have a joint, both Senate and the Congress meets Netanyahu, and Netanyahu goes and he bangs on the podium in our house,
Right.
house that belongs to all of us, and told all those senators and congressmen after they roared to shut up. I have the tape. He tells them, shut up. I'm not done yet. I'm paraphrasing. But he says, shut up. I'm not done yet. And this is what we're going to do. Now, we're the guys supplying this guy with all the bombs and supplying him with the money and all of this. And he comes into our Congress and he says that. I watch about 3 shows at the same time. I have all these YouTube TV where I can tape and do all of this at the same time. And I'm watching this stuff. And when I heard him bang the thing and I turned around and look at it, back it up, and immediately did a screen grab of that speech that he's given. Right. And I blasted out to the entire internet. But my thing is like, how do you allow a foreigner to have both houses of Congress and him use that power to scold you, which is what he came to the United States to do? So I made a video of that and placed it on there. But that's not the only thing, and not even the Kofi Annan issue. He actually told Haaretz, I think it was Haaretz, the newspaper in Israel, that he has us under his thumb. We can be pushed around, he said. He, Netanyahu, a foreign leader of a tiny country that we support financially and militarily, goes ahead and brag that they can push us around. This has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. This doesn't have to do with, he's not even, I don't even know what he is really, but he's just somebody that has no couth and is a bully and a genocidal criminal. That's who he is. But anyway, I got to go, Derek, to Brother Bard.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day, sir. Let's go to Brother Bard.
Good morning. Yes, sir. I think I have the answer for Linda and Johnny and Jacob. These people getting these benefits are, and Linda said it, and I noticed you let it slide, they are illegal. If you want to come in legally and apply for citizenship, like Egberto, when you came in, how did you come in? Did you come in legally or illegally?
I came in legally, sir. But I mean, that's not the point, but I came in legally.
That's the difference. That's the difference. You don't give benefits and gift cards and phones and hotel vouchers to illegal aliens. They're coming across the border by the millions. Okay, international law. What we do is we support, if somebody comes in and says, I want amnesty. Okay, international law has procedures that you go through when you come in and you say, I'm looking for amnesty. Later on, if you have a system that doesn't work like we do, right, you have to go on hold until your amnesty case can come through. But once you come into a country under the terms of amnesty, there are a whole set of international laws that apply. And sadly, we don't educate our citizenry to these realities. But let's go a bit further than that. Okay. I don't think you got the gist of either Jacob or Linda or anyone else. They were not trying to be exclusive, or they were not trying to be mean or malicious or anything like that. They were just, in the case of Jacob, he had a legitimate gripe. In the case of Linda says, let's look at the ball. Look, the immigration issue, or the righteous indignation that many on the right have about these foreigners that are coming into the land, strictly forget their history. You strictly forgotten your history, because you don't want to have grace on those that are coming over the border because of persecution, economic reasons, or whatever. But you were given grace when you came onto this land. These people want a job. Those who took this land came to conquer. I repeat, these people want a job. And in fact, our economy needs them. But interestingly, the same kind of grace that were given to those who came to conquer this land when it came is not the grace
we want to give to these others. Remember, they're not coming to take people's land. They're not coming here to take land that was never theirs. They're not coming here to genocidally kill those who inhabited the land. They're not doing any of that. Our forefathers, and notice I'm calling them my forefathers now that I'm an American citizen, so I have to bear their crosses as well. When they came here, remember what they did. So please, sir, whenever you are talking about my immigrant brothers and sisters, remember the history of the formation of this country. And let's talk about which one had more love. Bard, we'll talk another day. All right?
Legally.
We didn't come here legally. The founding fathers didn't come here legally, did they? Did the founding fathers come here legally? Yes or no? Did the founding fathers come to this land legally?
Yes.
Bye. No, they didn't. Have a great day. Let's go to Donald. Come on in, Donald. Line number 1.
The undocumented worker. Then, okay, good morning, Egberto. If an illegal immigrant is an undocumented worker, then a drug dealer is an unlicensed pharmaceutical or pharmacist.
I agree. Hey!
We got to have a reprieve. We got to give some of these people their lives back. We can't brand them and then sit there and let the other ones walk in. And if you want to win the election, that's all you got to do.
Let me tell you this, brother. Donald, I don't know how facetious you're trying to be, my brother, but let me tell you this. I want everybody in jail for doing coke, crack, marijuana, or any one of those things to be let out of jail. They don't belong in jail, okay? When we allow pharmaceuticals to drug up our people. And, there's something about imagine if we didn't have to, imagine if we treated pharmaceuticals the way for doing what they do, because remember, how many of these pharmaceuticals created the problem in Appalachia with all these people taking what I forgot, fentanyl, and all these other drugs. Those people don't make those drugs. The pharmaceuticals do. And they push it. They sell it. They try to get people to do it. Brother, you were trying to be facetious, but there's some truth to what you're saying, sir.
That's all I try to do, man. You just have to look. Now, I got an idea for you. You need to write Egberto's book. And this is real. You need to not put a title on it. Okay, print it only on the first page. Backside's open. And then you have the end. We all know where we begin. We all know where we end. Or kind of, sort of. But you need to make it, you can't control the first part of your life, but you can flip that over on the backside of the page and write the rest of your life and see what influenced you and see if it's bad or good and change your viewpoints. That's it.
I love you, brother. That's a damn good statement. You know that, right?
No, man, I just calling to mess with you. I'll holler at you later. Take it.
All right, you take care. Peace, brother. Let's go to Brother Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for all the volunteer work everybody does for this station.
Okay, before you attack me, Brian, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm always good, man. I'm always good. I always sleep good at night because I know that my thoughts are righteous and factual.
Okay, all right. So now, attack me now, brother. Go for it.
Okay, now, there's always been this Russia collusion. Russia, that Putin has Trump in his back pocket. Well, it seems that it's the other way around now, isn't it? Because Hunter Biden's laptop has been proven factual. Through who? Mark Zuckerberg. The FBI put pressure on Facebook to censor articles that were negative against the laptop, against the COVID shots. Okay? But now the mainstream media, they're not saying anything about this.
How come I know about it? How comes I know about it if the mainstream media didn't say it? I didn't get it from anywhere else but the mainstream media, sir. The mainstream media is the one that told me that some high-level Biden were trying to tell these guys not to put misinformation, tell Facebook not to put misinformation out, right?
Yeah, the FBI told Zuckerberg, censor it.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech is nothing to the left. Okay, now, I just read a poll. 16% of the people that were in the poll would have voted against Biden if they would have known his involvement in his son's business dealings. That is enough to persuade. Yeah.
Let me see. I don't. So you've gone to the conclusion now, sir, that somehow Biden had influence in whatever his son was doing in his name. Okay, continue.
10% for the big guy. Who's the big guy?
Okay. Look, I can't. Go ahead.
There was enough to persuade the outcome of the election through censorship.
I see. So that was going to flip. That was going to flip 8 million votes. That was going to flip 8 million votes. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Now you're denying it. You're denying it. You're blowing it off as conspiracy theorists, right? We value our freedom of speech very heavily here.
I know. We value it so much that we're trying to ban books. We value freedom of speech so much that we don't want to give students the freedom of speech or the ability to read what they want to read, right? I know. I mean, look, Brian, I'm going to tell you something. We have to be consistent here. And that's one thing the right isn't. But I am not going to do much in changing you in one day. A lot of your change is going to come just like my change came when I changed organically. I mean, it's going to, and I have faith that it's going to happen. Because, I came from a country where we had quite a bit of conservative thoughts and values until, I learned. But again, it happens organically. So this is your home, my brother. Remember that. This is your home. Anything else? I got to get you off because where it's 55.
Yeah, 53. Horton Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Are you familiar with that book?
I never read it, but I know about it. Yes.
Okay. What state banned that book?
I don't know.
It was Mississippi.
Okay.
And who banned it?
I don't know. Okay.
Horton is one of the greatest American writers this country has ever had.
Okay.
And they banned that book for students.
Well,
okay?
you just taught me something, Brian. So consider yourself. I just taught Egberto something. Look, thank you, my brother. Hey, Brian, I know I'll talk to you tomorrow, but I got to go. Okay?
It's Ellis Island.
All right. Thank you, brother. Former press secretary to Donald Trump, Stephanie Grisham, she appeared at the Democratic National Convention and she gave some tests. I mean, she's given it before, but being in the public like this, explosive testimony, she had a lot to say. I want you to listen to her speech, her short speech at the Democratic Convention, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I wasn't just a Trump supporter. I was a true believer. I was one of his closest advisors. The Trump family became my family. I spent Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all at Mar-a-Lago. I saw him when the cameras were off. Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers. On a hospital visit one time when people were dying in the ICU, he was mad that the cameras were not watching him. He has no empathy, no morals, and no fidelity to the truth. He used to tell me, "It doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Say it enough and people will believe you." But it does matter. What you says matter, and what you don't say matters. On January 6th, I asked Melania if we could at least tweet that while peaceful protest is the right of every American, there's no place for lawlessness or violence. She replied with one word: no. I became the first senior staffer to resign that day. I couldn't be part of the insanity any longer. When I was press secretary, I got skewered for never holding a White House briefing. It's because, unlike my boss, I never wanted to stand at that podium and lie. Now here I am, behind a podium, advocating for a Democrat. And that's because I love my country more than my party. Kamala Harris tells the truth. She respects the American people, and she has my vote. Thank you.
Now, we've been hearing all the immoral, negative things that Donald Trump has been saying. He's spoken about badly about our heroes who served in the military. He's spoken about just about everybody in a negative context whenever he feels challenged or whatever. This should be no surprise to anyone. The question is, knowing how Trump really feels about the people who supports him, knowing that this guy has had such a immoral upbringing, knowing that this guy has sexually abused women, this guy had fraudulent schools that ripped off people's money. He refused to pay people who's done work for him, people in the working class. Knowing all the things that he's done, he's stolen money from his own charity. Time and time again, it proves that he's a grifter. He proves that he's a criminal. He's a convicted felon. Yet there are those who will continuously support this person. You know, the good thing about it is, as we're seeing these polls change, we're not looking at the absolute numbers of the polls, but as we see them change, I think people are starting to wake up. They're starting to wake up. And the sycophants will be left behind, but the landslide is on the way. Anyway, let me jump to my brother in the studio, and then we'll come back for a closer.
Oh, well, all I can say is Abbott purged voters off the rolls, about 1 million of them, so voters, make sure you're registered before you vote. I think they're using sexism against the young black men to undermine the women, and guess who's coming to dinner?
Yep. Anyway, folks, please go ahead and check your voter registration. You can go ahead and start that check at harrisvotes.com. Please make sure you are registered to vote, because you know they're trying to take your vote away from you. Anyway, folks, the show today was covering Mondale Williams, Robert B. Cramer with nuts and bolts. Great stuff that we didn't cover because you take precedence when you call in. But go ahead, folks, and you can find that at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You have all the videos and stuff that we did for the show. Anyway, thank you all. Love you all. Let's all stay together. Let's remember that it is us, not them. Anyway, my name is Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.